Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when we feel stuck. When we feel as though we're not growing, not developing, not reaching the potential we know is buried within us. These moments can be discouraging. They can make us question our purpose, our path, and our worth. But it is in these moments that the most profound growth can occur. If we are willing to take a deeper look within ourselves and ask, what is this really about? Why does it feel like we are not developing? I want to start by acknowledging the discomfort of feeling stagnant. It's a universal experience. At some point, every single person has wondered, why am I not further along? Why haven't I reached my goals yet? Why do others seem to be moving forward while I remain stuck in the same place? Whether it's in our careers, our personal lives, or our self-development, we have all felt that frustration. But I am here to tell you something important. Just because growth doesn't look like what you expect it to doesn't mean it isn't happening. Growth often happens in quiet, unnoticed ways. It's happening even when you don't see it, and it's certainly happening when you feel like you're standing still. We're going to dive deeper into what to do when you feel like you're not developing, and I promise that by the end of this speech, you will leave with a renewed sense of hope, confidence, and clarity about your journey. 1, understand that growth is not always visible. When we think of growth, we often picture it as something visible, something tangible. We imagine ourselves growing taller, getting promoted at work, achieving our fitness goals, or mastering a skill. But in reality, growth is often invisible, especially in its early stages. The seeds of growth are planted deep within us, and they require time, patience, and the right conditions to break through the surface. Just because you don't see immediate results doesn't mean you're not developing. Consider this. A seed planted in the ground doesn't shoot up to the surface immediately. It takes time for it to grow roots, to develop strength, and to gather the energy it needs to break through the soil and reach the light. If the seed were impatient, it might give up before it ever had a chance to blossom. The same goes for your personal growth. You may be growing in ways that are not yet visible. It's often in the quiet moments of reflection, the hard work behind the scenes, and the small steps forward that real development occurs. 2, be patient with the process. In a world that demands instant results and constant progress, it's easy to feel discouraged when you're not seeing the development you expect. We live in an age where we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, especially on social media, where everyone's success seems to be on display. But it's important to remind ourselves that development takes time. Growth is not an overnight process. You can't rush it, and you can't force it. And you can't. Patience is key. When you feel like you're not developing, take a step back and remind yourself that growth is a marathon, not a sprint. Every small step, every small change adds up over time. It's like building a house. You start with a foundation, then add brick by brick, layer by layer, until one day you realize that you've built something strong and beautiful. This process of development, just like building a house, is gradual and requires you to trust in the journey. Patience doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you are committed to the long-term process, even when the results aren't immediate. Patience gives space for growth to unfold naturally. So when you feel like you're not developing, take a deep breath and remind yourself, it's okay to not see immediate results. I am on the right path and growth is happening. 3, reflect on your journey so far. One of the best ways to overcome feelings of stagnation is to reflect on your journey. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day struggles, to focus on what you haven't accomplished yet. But if you take a step back and look at how far you've come, you may be surprised by how much progress you've actually made. Think about the challenges you've faced in the past and how you've handled them. Think about the times you felt like giving up, but you kept going. Reflect on the skills you've developed, the wisdom you've gained, and the lessons you've learned. Even the hard times, those periods when you felt defeated, have contributed to your growth in ways you may not fully understand yet. Take a moment to acknowledge all that you've achieved, even if it feels small in comparison to where you want to be. It's important to celebrate your progress and recognize that each step forward, no matter how minor it seems, adds to your overall development. 4, set realistic expectations. Often, we feel like we're not developing because we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves. We want to be perfect, we want everything to happen quickly, and we want to see progress right away. But real growth doesn't work on our timelines. It works on its own terms. Setting realistic expectations is a crucial part of personal development. It's about understanding that growth happens incrementally, and the path to success is rarely a straight line. You might have setbacks, delays, and detours along the way. That's normal. It's okay to adjust your expectations to reflect where you are in your journey and to honor the pace that feels right for you. Rather than focusing on a grand, distant goal, break it down into smaller, more achievable milestones. Celebrate each milestone you reach. This way you will build confidence as you recognize the progress you're making, rather than feeling discouraged by the distance to your ultimate destination. Challenge yourself. Stagnation can often be a sign that we've become too comfortable. When we do the same things over and over, we stop growing. Growth comes from discomfort. It comes from pushing yourself beyond your current limits, trying new things, and stepping into the unknown. If you feel like you're not developing, it might be because you've stopped challenging yourself. Ask yourself, what scares me? What am I avoiding? What would happen if I took a risk? Growth is not about staying where it's comfortable. It's about stepping into the unknown and expanding your boundaries. The more you challenge yourself, the more you will develop, whether it's through learning a new skill, trying a new activity, or taking on a project that forces you to think differently. If you're feeling stagnant, consider doing something that challenges you. Start that new project, sign up for that class, take on a leadership role, or try something that forces you to grow. Sometimes all it takes is one brave step to unlock the next phase of your development. 6. Surround yourself with growth-oriented people. The people you spend time with play a significant role in your development. If you feel like you're not developing, it might be time to assess your circle. Are the people around you inspiring you to be your best? Are they challenging you to grow and evolve? Or are they holding you back, either consciously or unconsciously? Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who challenge you, who believe in your potential, and who inspire you to be better. When you're around people who are growing, their energy will fuel your own growth. They will push you to take risks, to learn, and to develop in ways you never thought possible. At the same time, make sure you're also surrounding yourself with mentors, people who have been where you are and who can guide you through the challenges of personal development. Find those who can offer wisdom, perspective, and encouragement when you need it most. 7, practice consistency over perfection. Consistency is often the key to development. We can get caught up in trying to be perfect, but perfection isn't necessary for growth. In fact, perfection can be paralyzing. It can keep us stuck in a cycle of waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect condition before we take action. Instead of striving for perfection, focus on consistency. Show up every day, even if you don't feel like it. Take small steps toward your goals, even if they don't seem significant at the time. Over time, consistency compounds and creates the momentum necessary for growth. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. Keep moving forward no matter how small the steps may seem. 8, embrace failure as part of growth. Finally, I want to emphasize that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. If you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Failure is an essential ingredient of growth. It teaches us lessons that success simply cannot. When you feel like you're not developing, remember that failure is not a sign of defeat. It's an opportunity to learn, adapt, and become stronger. Embrace your failures as valuable lessons that are shaping you into the person you need to become. Each failure brings you closer to success because it reveals areas where you can improve, areas where you can grow. So, when you feel like you're not developing, take a deep breath and know that you are not alone. Growth isn't always visible, but it's happening. Be patient with yourself, reflect on your journey, challenge yourself, surround yourself with growth-related people, and stay consistent in your efforts. Embrace failure, and remember that every step you take, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to the person you are meant to be. You are growing. Even if you can't always see it, trust in the process, trust in yourself, and most importantly, keep moving forward. You've got this.